Hey everyone, what's going on? It is Zach, and today we are talking about some of the new and returning moves that came with the newest DLC update, the Indigo Disk for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. If you guys enjoy this content, do not forget to like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments below what is your favorite move added so far, or your favorite returning move. I know a lot of people are excited for Expanding Force to be a TM again, but there's definitely something that caught my attention a little bit more, and let's jump into it. So, as the DLC came out, new mons, new stuff, all that, new moves came out. There's not that much. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 moves. Most of them are limited to certain mons. They're signature moves, exclusive moves. So really, hard press down to upper hand is the moves that are new that are going to multiple different Pokemon, but we can talk about the other ones real quick. Terra Starstorm is Terrapagos signature move, and it seems like a spread move that is only with its terrestrialization with the stellar type, I think. I haven't really used it that much. I caught my Terrapagos and just moved on with the game. So I haven't really seen it other than through the story mode, but that's here or there. We can talk about this when Terrapagos finally actually comes to competitive formats. The next one is Fickle Beam. The user shoots a beam of light to inflict damage. Sometimes the user's heads interact in unison, doubling the power. So this is for Hydra Apple. And this can be a move that doubles in damage randomly. It is a dragon move. It is a special dragon move. So I guess it's pretty good. It's only stuck on one mon. So it's basically like Dragon Pulse, but it has a chance to randomly double. So we'll have to see how that goes. We'll have to see how Hydra Apple is used in the competitive format, if it does get used. I know a lot of people use Diplin here and there, but we didn't see any really serious play with it. The next one is Burning Bulk. And this is like a King Shield, but even better. So the user's intensively hot fur protects it from attacks and also burns any attackers that make direct contact with it. So it is a protect that burns. It is exclusive to gouging flame, Paradox Entei, and I think this is really cool. This is really going to make this Pokemon stand out, to have a move like this where it can protect and really punish opponents. Unfortunately, I do think Urshifu will still hit through it, so that stinks. Maybe this would be good. Be a good replacement for Roaring Moon next to Weezing now to deal with Urshifu. Who knows? I don't know. The next one is Thunderclap. This is going to be exclusive to Raging Bolt. It is Electric type special Sucker Punch, which is going to be really good. So it's a Electric type Sucker Punch, which is really good. I hope this move eventually gets expanded outward. So to have another form of Sucker Punch, especially on the special side, could be really good. And so I want to see this. I want to see more Pokemon get this move, but for right now, this is going to make Raging Bolt like really stick out. And these new Paradox mons are getting some sick moves. Next up, you have the Paradox Terrakion getting Mighty Cleave. So this is a 95 power, 100% accurate rock type move, which we don't get a lot of 100% rock type moves that are that strong. And it goes through Protect. So I know everyone complains about Urshifu and it having a broken ability, but I mean, if you just have one move on this Paradox Terrakion that is going to hit through Protect and do a lot of good damage, like, I'm really excited to see how it does with that. Next up is Iron Crown's move, Taion. I feel like I'm always saying it wrong. Tyon Cutter, which is basically a special steel type dual wing beat. So it is going to hit twice, but here's the thing, it never misses. So this move is going to be really good, especially against Fluttermane, because it is a steel type. So we could see this doing really well, especially being a good steel type move with like no drawbacks. Because usually like some of the higher steel type moves, besides like Flash Cannon, do have some drawbacks. And speaking of steel type moves, we have Hard Press. Hard Press, I don't know how well I like it, because it's one of those moves that are really good at first, and then the more you use it, the weaker it gets. So it is a move that the higher the target's HP is, the more damage it does. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think it's that good. Next up is Dragon Cheer. It seems like a focus energy that works better with dragon types. I really haven't seen the hard data on it, on how much it boosts, but it just seems like dragon type focus energy. We'll have to see what what's the benefit of using it as a dragon, and see if that makes it worth it, because there were some focus energy sets going around in early regulation A and stuff like that, like to deal with like Dondozo and stuff, because critical hits like ignore all the stat boost and stuff. So this could be good on some mons, but I don't know. Will it be worth it? If we were going back to regulation A and we had this move, I would say awesome. Like, this is going to make Hydreigon even better. But now, like later on in the formats, I don't know. Next up is Alluring Voice, and that is a fairy type move. I don't think it's spread. I haven't seen it outside of the story mode, and I don't think, no, it wasn't spread. So it seems like Burning Jealousy, but it causes confusion instead of burn. So to me, it's a weaker version of Burning Jealousy. Now, the one pro is that it is a fairy type, so that could do something. But confusion isn't that good of a status. Like, it's really RNG dependent on how good it is. So I'm not super excited for this move. I can't think of any mon in particular that really takes advantage of it. And it's going to be one of those things where like there's going to be so many like niche cases of like when it's good. Like, is it even worth tacking on over like a Deagleam or a Moonblast or something like that? I don't know. Next up is the one that I am the most excited about, and I think that this is a really cool move. It is Temper Flare, which, if you listen to the description, spurred by desperation, the user attacks the target. This move's power is doubled if the user's previous move failed. This is a fire type Stomping Tantrum, right? So I think this move can really, really do some work, because our best move on most fire types in VGC is Flare Blitz. Now, Flare Blitz overall is still going to be better because it's higher damage. It's always higher damage, base 120. But here's the thing. It has a drawback of, recoil. Flare Blitz does recoil. You can position yourself where this move does more than Flare Blitz, and there's no drawbacks. So some of the mons that get this is Hisuian Arcanine and regular Arcanine, Blaze Tauros, Gyarados, Granbull, Blaziken, Salamence, Infernape, Rhyperior, Emboar, Talonflame, Incineroar, Cinderace, Great Tusk, Slitherwing, Koraidon, and Gouging Fire, Paradox Entei. The one that sticks out to me is Hisuian Arcanine and Incineroar. They shouldn't have given this to Incineroar. Did Incineroar really need this? Now, you might be benefited by running a slower Incineroar, because if you get faked out, then the next turn, this move does double power. Or vice versa, you might still be able to run your Hycerian Arcanine. I know that a lot of times, like, I fake out Hycerian Arcanine. Like, now with Temper Flare, if it's running Temper Flare for Flare Blitz, then that means you have to second guess whether that fake out is worth it, you know? And I know that it's still not as strong, but for these bulky mons like Incineroar and Arcanine, like, I think this is a really good move to punish people that try to chip down the bulk with like fake out and stuff. I think Emboar would take really good advantage of this, especially being a slower mon, but it still hits super hard. Salamence, I think, could do really well with this. And then let's talk about why Granbull, Gyarados, and Rhyperior get it. First off, Granbull, this is amazing for Granbull. I know the Granbull is not used, but having Intimidate and a move that now hits Steel type Pokemon really hard, and it can get boosted up even more, because before you had Fire Punch, and of course with Fire Punch you get the chance to burn with Granbull, but to have a move that if like you get faked out or flinched or something like that, like if your last move fails, like this move does double damage, like that is good. That is good for Granbull. I don't think it's going to help Granbull in any way for VGC, but I think that's good for it. Gyarados, I don't know why Gyarados gets it. There will be a Gyarados set that runs it, but I don't know. I think like Talonflame and Cinderace, like maybe. The only reason why I could think it would be good on Talonflame is because it doesn't have recoil like Flare Blitz, so you can use it without threatening your Gale Wing. Great Tusk, if this was on early like Reg B Great Tusk, where like a lot of Great Tusk ran that Terrifier for the defensive boost against like Fluttermane, this would have been really good. And then Koraidon is now that much stronger in the sun. So next up is Supercell Slam, which sounds like to me it is just an electric type high jump kick. So the user electrifies its body, drops into the target to inflict damage. If this move misses, the user takes damage instead. So it sounds like high jump kick. It could be good, but it's going to be one of those things where like, do you really want to run the risk of like missing it? It depends on how much it does. Because then on a lot of the mons that get it, you have to like weigh the options like, oh, what's more recoil, like Wild Charge or missing a Supercell Slam. And I think in most cases, if the Pokemon's like chipped down, like Wild Charge is going to be a better option, and Wild Charge base 90. So this is a little, right? Yeah, Wild Charge is a base 90 move. So this is a little stronger than Wild Charge, but I don't know. I always feel iffy about these. Like, I never run high jump kick on Serena because, you know, if you protect in front of it, or if I just miss, because there's that 5% chance, because that covers protects too. So if they just protect in front of you, so there could be end games where like you lose because they protect it, and like you click that move. But Alolan Golem gets it. Luxray, Rampardos. I think Rampardos could actually take advantage of this with like a defensive electric type Terra. So we'll have to see how that goes. Electivire, Zebstrika. Zekrom is probably the best one to get this because it's a strong physical like electric type move, which Zekrom needed more of. Regieleki gets it. Regieleki is usually a special attacker, so I don't know about that, but this does give it more options to have moves that are physical. So this opens up Regieleki a little bit more for like a physical set. Ursaluna gets it. I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal. Like Ursaluna is pretty stuck in its ways of like its set. Once again, Great Tusk gets it, which would be good for the water type attackers, but you still have to survive like the first hit with Great Tusk. Iron Treads, Iron Hands gets it. I think Iron Treads would run this a little better than Great Tuskwood. Iron Hands. Once again, Iron Hands is the big one we're talking about where like, do you want to run this over Wild Charge? Like, is it worth it? I don't know. We'll have to see how it performs. And then Iron Crown, but Iron Crown is a special attacker. Psychic Noise, it blocks healing. It's heal block, but it does damage. So this is a really good thing where it's like taking two moves and just like kind of condensing them together. I think it's going to be okay to carry, but you have to justify it on a lot of mons. You probably have to justify like, is these niche cases of recovery, is it going to be worth it for like, is it going to be worth it by not carrying Psychic, just regular Psychic with a base power of 90? I will say this could be really good for Amoonguss because it seems like it would block Regenerator. So Amoonguss would either have to stay in for 2 turns or Amoonguss would have to just switch out without getting the Regenerator. So I could see a niche case of this being good solely VGC wise for dealing with Amoonguss. Maybe stopping leftovers on some bulkier mons like Dondozo. But yeah, other than that, you have to justify bringing it over Psychic, and I don't know if the niche situations where you benefit is going to be enough to say, okay, I'm always going to have a weaker move, you know? Malignant Chain is for the mon that hasn't came out yet. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. So I'm not going to talk about that, but I'm going to talk about Upper Hand. Upper Hand, I think, is really good for those Chen-Pao Dragonites. I think this move is to completely address Chen-Pao Dragonite. It also deals with Fake Out users. The thing I want to know is, when this move goes, does it just always go first? Like, is this like a +7 priority, or where is it on the priority chain? Are there going to be some moves that go over it? Like, am I still going to be stopped by Follow Me or something like that? Or Rage Powder. Like, where is it exactly on the priority? If it's like a +7, like if it's like the opposite of Trick Room, where like it's always going to go first, I feel like this could be really good. But we'll have to see. And then it's going to be kind of weird because like when you see this on an open team sheet, you're going to have to play the game of like the mental game of, are you going to click Upper Hand? Because if I don't click Fake Out, like you wasted a turn, you know? Kind of like how last generation, it's just like, oh, are you going to click Fake Out? Because I could just Dynamax and avoid it. Or I could, in this generation, I can go Terra Ghost and just avoid it. We'll have to see how it's played, but I think it can do really well. So basically, this stops all priority moves and makes them flinch. But it only works if they're going for priority moves. Now, so this is basically kind of like Armor Tail. Like, it's kind of like Psychic Terrain, but it does damage and it makes them flinch. So this can be really good if you catch mons on the priority. And this can, being a fighting type move, can hit Chen-Pao really hard, can hit Terra normal Dragonite really hard. So this move definitely has some potential, but it opens up a lot of mind games, especially in open team sheet. Hitmontop gets it. I think Hitmontop could be a good user of it. Blaziken, Hariyama could be good users of it. Medicham, maybe. Pure Power Upper Hand. I don't know. Lucario, Weavile. I want to say like this is good that Weavile gets it because it is something that Weavile has that Chen-Pao doesn't. And it's just like, okay, like I could hit you with this. But then again, at the same time, like the most common Terror type for Chen-Pao is Ghost type. So you never know. But sometimes it's good to force a Terra. Gallade Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr could be good because Conkeldurr's slow, so to have this move where like you just shut down priority could be okay. Hisuian Lilligant, Swords of Justice, Greninja, but it's single target, so like with Greninja and Sceptile, like you'd probably just run Quick Guard instead, because Quick Guard covers like your teammate as well, and it stops all priority, where like Upper Hand is only going to stop the priority of the mon that you click the move on, you know? Passimian, I think this could be really good for Passimian. I was talking to Gudra VGC about this. Like, Passimian has Defiant and Upper Hand, so like if they go a turn lead in Incineroar, like you automatically threaten it, right? And the same thing with like Chien-Pao and stuff like that, or like going against Sucker Punch King Gambit. Like you can shut down Sucker Punch King Gambit with it and force them to not do the priority move, which I think could be really good. Como, Sneasler, Quackavole, Okidogi. Okidogi's another one that I think could be a really good user of this, especially with the Guard Dog ability. So this move seems like it's going to really punish the Fake Out Intimidates, aka the Incineroars, which is good because Incineroar needs something to keep it in check, right? And then there are returning moves. So a lot of the Isle of Armor tutor moves are coming back as TMs now. Where were we? We zoomed in on the thing, so it like went down. Scale Shot was already in the game with the teal mask. Temper Flare is the first one. So we got Temper Flare, the Supercell Slam, Triple Axle. So Triple Axle, not a lot of Mons got it. The ones I do want to point out is that Serena has it back. Basically, any Mon that had it in Sword and Shield also has it in Scarlet and Violet. So Serena has it again. And so what I like about this on Serena is that it is now once again a threat to Rillabooms, right? Because Rillaboom has the priority like Grassy Terrain, Grassy Glide, and Serena can use it as well, but Serena's Queenly Majesty stops priority. But there wasn't really anything you could hit Rillaboom hard with unless you clicked U-turn. So now Triple Axle, like you can hit Rillaboom really hard for this. So Serena is now like something that you can put on teams to help deal with priority and Rillaboom. Like, so I think this is going to be good for Serena. Meowscarada also gets it. I think Meowscarada, its time to shine is kind of over for the most part. So I don't really think this move is going to be that beneficial. Plus, Meowscarada usually has like a pretty set move set. And Quackavole. I think Quackavole could do something with this, especially with the Moxie. But once again, if Meowscarada's time to shine is over, like I don't know what to say about Quackavole. And then coaching. Coaching is going to be pretty good, especially on those bulkier mons. So the +1 in attack and defense, I feel like that's going to be pretty good. I didn't look to see who got it because I don't know. I feel like if you're interested in using it, like you'll find a mon that will work for it. Scorching Sands isn't too bad. I know Charizard ran it a lot, but now that Dynamax is over, I don't think it can really take advantage of it like it did with Max Quake. But able to get, like, having the burn chance isn't too bad. I would say this would be good for Landorus, like Landorus Incarnate. But now it has Sandsteer Storm. So it, like, Sandsteer Seer is basically just a better version of Scorching Sands. Meteor Beam. I didn't see the new users of Meteor Beam, but I think, you know, Electroshot. It's like Electroshot is basically like the same thing. Electroshot isn't on here. Electroshot is on here. Archaludon signature move. So this is basically like electric type Meteor Beam, but it can be a no charge move in the rain, which I think is going to be really good, but we'll have to see if Archaludon's good. Throat Chop coming back. I didn't really look to see Throat Chop. I want to say the main user might be Ensign, but we'll see how that goes. Like sound-based moves aren't used as much as they were, but we'll see. And expanding force. So expanding force is back. So just like I said with the other, with triple axle, if they got expanding force and sword and shield, they probably once again have it in this DLC as well. So like the Hatterini, all that, and DD, they now have access to expanding force again, which is really good. So I just wanted to kind of point out notable mons that also got expanding force. Weirdeer could be another trick room setter. Screamtail could be a faster one, not that big of an attacker, but it's a good move option for it. Iron Valiant, I think Iron Valiant can take really good advantage of this, especially if it's the fastest thing on the field. So what I wanted to see is kind of more faster expanding force users instead of the trick room expanding force. And then Iron Crown. Iron Crown has a really decent, actually a pretty good special attack. So this could definitely be something you see in Iron Crown's like moveset. Even if you're not using the psychic terrain, like just to have it to cover, I think could be really good. And one thing I wanted to point out, like Farigiraf gets it. So the reason why like I'm weirded out that Farigiraf gets it is because if you're using Armortail Farigiraf, you don't really need the psychic the psychic surge. You don't need the psychic terrain. So to have the idea of having NDD and Farigiraf on the field at the same time, like it just sounds like you can just roll compress, really. But I don't know. That's going to be all. Let me know what move you're excited about the most in the comments down below. Mine is definitely that Tempered Flare. I think this is going to be a really good move. I'm excited to try it out. I want to slap it on Hyacinth, Arcanine, and Incineroar, and just let them deal damage, but also not. Oh my goodness. Dude, you have to run this move on instant. Because if they protect in front of that fake out, like the next turn you just hit them with that Tempered Flare. You hit them with that 150 Tempered Flare. Oh, that's so good. I think this is going to be a really good move. This is the one I'm excited for. But let me know which one you're excited for in the comments down below. If you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Till next time, I'm Zach, and we'll see everyone later.